Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. Today I'll be bringing you something a little bit different here. Today we have a Korg Polysix, and this is a personal unit of mine that I've had for about 7 years, and I'm just getting ready to move it on. So it's actually going to be for sale. And I really just want to make a good video going over it so you guys can see exactly what it is for those that are interested in possibly purchasing this unit. And just kind of show you what it is. And it's not perfect. I'm not going to say it's perfect. It's it's a little rough around the edges. It has had a lot of work done to it, not by me. A previous tech did a lot of work to it. He did a good job in it though, and for that reason, it's worked really well over the 7 years I've owned it. It's got the original computer in it, which is kind of rare. Most everybody puts the Kiwi 6 kit in it, or some other kit. This is still running the original computer, and it does have the battery acid issue. The battery would leak out on these things. It was just a Korg known issue, and it corrodes the board. It eats the tracings off the board, kills chips. But the tech that did the work on this one cleaned that board up really good. He put in a button cell battery, removed the charging circuitry, and this thing has worked really great over the 7 years I've owned it. It still has the tape data in it that was put on it back when I first got it, and I hadn't lost it. So it's doing very, very good computer-wise. I know that won't be a problem. The only issue it really has is it has one voice that has a slight intermodulation effect in it. And I just really honestly haven't had time to look into it. And so I'm selling it really as a project for somebody that wants to take this thing a little bit further. That would be what I would sell this one as. It's very lightly noticeable though, so it's not something that you would say is a problem for playing this thing. It may just be a problem if you're talking about recording. If you're like in the studio with this thing, I wouldn't think it wouldn't want to be heard on the album. Let me just put it that way. But as far as a player goes, it's a great player's instrument. It's really a great first synthesizer too. If you're looking for a vintage analog synthesizer without breaking the bank, this is a pretty good little synth. What I've done to it just recently is I did clean all the contacts, wash the keycaps, got all the keys where they triggered. I was having some intermittent triggering on notes, but of course cleaning the contacts took care of all that. Just kind of gave it a good cleaning cosmetically. And did the calibration, so it has had a full calibration done on it just to make sure there's no problems, outside the stuff that I knew it had with the voice 1 problem. But they're just a great synth. For those that don't know what the Korg Polysix is, it's probably one of the most underrated synths of the 80s. You had the Juno 106 by Roland, you had the Juno 6, the Juno 60, which all use DCO oscillators. Now they're great synths, don't get me wrong, but because they use DCOs instead of VCOs like this uses, they tend to have a kind of a very sterile sound, so you have to use the chorus in order to make it sound really lively. The synth is not quite that way. It's still the same concept. It's a single oscillator synthesizer, single envelope generator, etc. But we're using VCOs in this synth. And because it uses VCOs, you have a natural phasing between the voices. Some people like that, some people don't. I tend to really like it because it makes the voices a little bit different from each other. And it kind of fattens up the sound in general when we talk about what it sounds like, especially in unison mode. That's where you really notice this thing. It sounds really good there with these oscillators. But basically what you've got is you got one oscillator, or one oscillator per voice. You got a 16/8 footage control, sawtooth, pulse width or pulse width modulation, and you got your pulse width and pulse width modulation control here with the pulse width modulation speeds. It's got a dedicated LFO for the PWM, or pulse width modulation. We got a sub oscillator, so you can actually do a divide by 2 or divide by 4. What the sub oscillator is, for those that don't know, it's basically just a divider circuit that runs off the clock of this oscillator, the VCOs. So the VCO has a waveform going into it, and then this just divides that frequency by 2 or divide by 4, and that's how you get your 1 octave down or 2 octaves down. It's just a little additive piece for it that adds a little bit extra tone to it. Now the filter and envelopes are different in the synth altogether. This is using the SSM series chips, like the SSM 2044 filters and the 2056 envelope generators. So it's got a very unique sound. It's a little bit different than what you get with the Curtis filters, like you find like the Prophet 5. This is like the early Prophet 5, like the version 2 or Rev 2. SSM chips were used in it. This has the SSM chips, so it has a little bit different filter tonality. So it is a nice filter. We do have effects. We have a chorus, phase, and ensemble effect that you can select between here. You can control your speed here, or intensity in some of the functions. You can see it says intensity there for ensemble. We got our arpeggiator right here with its own little LFO for clocking. We got hold, chord memory, which is like a power chord function. We got unison, which stacks the 6 voices. We got poly, which we're in now, and of course your presets and your tape data and your saving functions over here. But it's just a really nice synthesizer. It's, like I said, it's one of my favorite 80 synths because it's a little bit fatter than what most of like the Juno series was, but it wasn't as reliable. That's why you don't see as many of them, because one, they use a cheaper chassis material. They have that board leakage issue, or that battery leakage issue, and so it had some problems there. But like I said, it's really clean. It's cleaned up really good. I'll walk you around to the sides here. It does have a little bit of bubbling right here underneath this vernier. It has a little bit of bubbling. I guess it got a little damp at some point in its life. It's got a little scar right up here, but cylinder is 386166, and it looks like it was originally in Canada. It has a cool sticker there where it was inspected for, I guess, for importing. Nice Korg logo. Like I said, it's got some scars. It's not perfect. But if you're looking for a nice little Polysix that works, this is a good example of one. But anyways, let me put the camera on the tripod here, and I'll give you guys a demo of this thing. Alright, so anyways, I'll start here just with a good raw sound of this thing. You hear the oscillators. They got a little bit of envelope generators on this thing for a little bit of release time. And just sounds really good. I'll show you how this thing sounds. So no effects. We have no effects on. It's just a kind of raw synthesizer. And you'll see just how lively, I mean, it sounds. It's a one oscillator synth, so keep that in mind. You're not going to have the beating and that kind of stuff between 2 oscillators and 1 voice, like you do like with the Memory Moog or Polysix or those kind of synths. It's still on the lines of a single oscillator synth like the Juno. But here's what it sounds like. But I love how rich it sounds because those oscillators are slightly out of tune from each other, just a slightly bit. Even though you calibrate it, they kind of just do their own little thing here. And it just kind of gives it its own sound. So you can hear it sounds really good. It's got a very different sound than some of the other 80 synths. Close that filter up. You hear all those filters that are working there. It's just cycling through the voice there. So there's our filters, our oscillators. We'll go back to oscillators a little bit here because that was just the raw sound I kind of gave you. So that was sawtooth. We got pulse width. You can change your pulse width. Go all the way to 0 pulse. And then we have the pulse width modulation, which when you go to this mode, it's going to look at this PWM right here, this pulse width modulation LFO. And it's going to just kind of sweep through the pulse width, basically. So you get something like that. And we'll go down here and combine it with a little modulation. So this is what I also like about the Polysix. You have independent modulation, so not everything's shared off one LFO. So you get a lot more characteristic. So we'll go here, we'll assign this to the VCO in our modulation. Bring our release up a little bit so we don't have such a long release time. Well, I also have delay for modulation. So you can have that sound. So you get all these modulations that kind of work with that oscillator. So there's that. We also can modulate the VCO. I'll show you this real quick. So close that up. We can set the intensity. So you can hear the LFO there. We can also modulate the VCA. So anyways, there's the modulation with a little bit of the oscillator waveforms. We also have sub-oscillator. I'll show you that right quick, because right now those are off. So we can go here and put in octave 1 down. Or go 2. There it is, off. But anyways, that's your oscillators. Pitch bend also works. You control your intensity here. So as you can see, that's your bend range control here. And then, of course, we got the filter. I'll turn our PWM down so we have no pulse width, as you can hear. So there's no pulse width. Close this resonance up. And the EG intensity doesn't exactly go to 0 on this thing. That's the only thing I have noticed about the controls on this EG intensity. When it's at 0, it's still active. There's your filter. You got key track. There we go, now we're better. That's your key tracking. It doesn't track perfectly. Anyways, there's your filters. And of course, that thing zeroed out that time. Bring that back in there. We got our envelope generator. I'll show you that right quick on the filter. So we got our attack. It dropped to 0. We got our decay. As you can hear. Go back to our attack real quick. Just showing that all 6 envelopes there are actually working. We got sustain. And of course we got release. So if we set a little bit of decay time. And there's our actual release time. So as you can hear. So that's the envelope generator. Now we'll actually go here and we'll set it back up for a sound. So now we'll go to effects. So the effects, we got chorus. Control the speed of that chorus. We got phase, which also controls the speed of it. And then we got ensemble. Once again, without it, chorus. And now we'll turn on the arpeggiator. We got it latched, we got full. Excuse me. And here's two. One. We got up and up down. So that's our arpeggiator. We also have latched on and off, so if we turn that back on, we'll off the keys, it won't actually hold that latched pattern. So you can hear it there. We've also got, I'll turn that back off, we'll go to unison. I think I've already showed you this. We'll go here one more time. There's the voices stacked. So you hear it sounds really rich. We've also got chord memory, so if we play a chord, it holds the memory of that chord progression we played. Cut that back to poly mode. Now we're back there. We also have a hold function, which is just like having a sustain pedal. Turn it off. Now we're back in our normal release. So that's really the function of the synth. Like I said, it's not very complex, but it has a good sound. For what it is, it has a great sound. We'll go to some of the presets. So now we're in the presets. Here's some of the ones I really like. I'll just show a few of them I like. So that's preset 5. Go to preset 1. Very simple kind of a... So that's a good preset. Preset 3. Real simple. If we go to Bank B, preset 5, this is one I actually made. It's kind of a mogy bass kind of sound. But something else that makes these things nice, if you don't use these effects or you can use them in conjunction, put just a little external reverb on it and it really comes alive. We'll go here and... Then combine it with a little bit of chorus. Got a unison. So that's one of my favorite presets. Then we also have this one right here. I think this is it. Now I apologize, I don't know what's with all the trains out here today, but they are loud. Once again, we'll put a little reverb on this. Let this train get by real quick. Maybe it's done blowing its horn. So you can hear with just a little touch of reverb, this thing really comes alive with that single oscillator synth. But then we got some weird stuff in here too. If we go to Bank D, there's our filters. That's another one that would probably sound good with a little reverb. Let's try that. That sounds pretty good with a little reverb. Here's another weird one. Then we got preset 5. That just goes really high in frequency. And then we got, here's some in bank C. I didn't go over bank C. And of course you can edit any of these in real time. It's not like some of the synths where when you're in preset, you're stuck in preset. You can actually change your... So anyways, that's just a look at this thing. I want to take a minute here and show you guys, for those that might be interested in purchasing this thing. And as you can hear, it's a good working Polysix. I'll see if I can show you real quick. I did forget to show you the noise in Oscillator 1. It's not very noticeable. It's just I'm very OCD about stuff because, you know, I work on high-end equipment. But if we open this filter up, we'll go back to... you kind of hear it right there. There it is. You hear just a little bit of ringing behind that oscillator, and that's the only thing it really has that I can really point out as going, oh, that's something there. But like I say, I hadn't really spent much time in this one. It's already been worked on by another tech. It's got a lot of work done to it. I will say there's a lot of new chipsets. There's a lot of stuff that's new in this thing. I just never did dig in because I'm always so busy. It's a personal instrument, and so I just really just did what needed to be done to as far as making it work a little bit better, calibration, keyboard cleaning, contact cleaning. So it's a project, and I'm going to sell it as a project. But for those that are interested, as you can hear, it works great. It's a good playing little Polysix. And as always, guys, I appreciate you watching. There'll be more here to come here very soon. Take care.